for a weekend getaway. We stayed at a boutique hotel off of Sunset. It's more of a hipster-type place, not normally somewhere I'd stay, but it was nice, clean, and had a good vibe. We met up with our friends who live in LA, and we went out for dinner and drinks. It was a late night, and we came back to the hotel.
From Kingman, Arizona.
I was exhausted and
You better go get that there on Popeyes for
1:30
me,
a.m.
boy.
or something like that.
Popeyes.
My husband is a very deep sleeper.
Last time I was up there was for
extremely light
jury
sleeper,
duty.
except when
I
I've
got
had a
me
bunch
some
of drinks,
Popeyes.
which I had definitely
Driven all the way to
consumed that
Kingman
night.
just for Popeyes.
So it was lights out for both of us very quickly.
What's up, Mr. Goo Goo?
Around 3 a.m., I only know the time
Interesting
after
name,
everything
fun
that
to
happened.
say.
I wake up suddenly and open my eyes. There's a light
What's up,
in our
Lakota?
room.
Mr.
The
Clown
room
says
had
I'm gonna be
been
home
totally
alone
dark
for
when we went to
Halloween.
bed.
Ooh, that
The
sounds
light came
fun.
from the doorway, which was
Scary
illuminating
movies
the silhouette of a
alone
man standing
are
at the
amazing.
front of the bed. Just standing
What's
there
up, Bad
staring.
Vibes? Good to see you, dude.
For a moment, I'm speechless, confused, and also slightly intoxicated.
Hope everyone's
haven't
having a
yet
good
moved.
weekend.
My
Lizzie,
reaction
good
is
to see
delayed,
you.
and then the
Abby,
stark
what's
fear and
up?
reality kick in.
Looks
I
like you
gasped
and the
and said,
family had fun today.
fuck?
Saw a little one with all those
The
tickets.
man was wearing a red plaid
Yeah.
shirt and had dark hair and a beard. I couldn't make out any of his features.
Via Noctis
my
says,
eyes
hey,
were
your maker, how you
adjusting
doing?
to
I'm about to
waking up in
upload
the
my
lighting
second
that
video.
illuminated
Much love from Prescott.
showered
What's
half
up,
of his
Prescott?
face.
Congrats on uploading your
The man
second video.
says,
That's super awesome, dude.
I need to speak with Drake.
Or do that, I should say. I call everyone
I
dude,
know this
sorry.
may sound somewhat comical.
What's with the multiple
but I assure
voices?
you, at the time, I was fucking terrified.
What do you mean multiple
I screamed,
voices? Is it
Get
like
the fuck
echoing?
out! Which jolts my husband awake, who immediately sits up and sees the man at the
Hold on,
foot of
let
our
me go
bed.
through.
My husband.
Oh, that would be why. I had some bullshit on in the background. One of my old fucking streams. That's how I've been trying to get my 911 videos around the bullshit that I have to do is I'll do an unlisted stream and I have what's called a filler stream. That's what you were hearing in the background right there. I didn't know it was on because I can't hear that. But I'll put that on for a while and then I'll stream my video and then I'll stream more filler stream and try to edit it from there. My bad. I'm glad someone said something. It's like, how in the hell is he talking twice at the same time? Laura Lee says, I'm already less mad at the mural my kids drew on the door. Aren't kids great? What's up, Cheyenne, Dory Bob? Good to see ya. Where do I live at? My house. My house. My house is located in Lake Havasu, so not too far from you. What's up, Eleni? Good to see ya. Hope you're having a good weekend. Lisa's like, I thought I was completely losing it. I was sitting there, I was like, what the hell are they talking about? Is it echoing? And then I just went down and saw that was on. How long is the stream? I don't know. Until it's over, I guess. I'll read some stories. We'll probably listen to the next video that'll come out live. If you're a patron or channel member, you've had the video for, what is it, like a day now? 2 days now? Something like that. It's a nice little creepypasta. I enjoyed it. It was something different. Mad Chin says, I'm supposed to be studying for a college exam, but I hate studying. I hate it as well. So I don't blame you. But in the same sense, you should probably make sure that gets done. Aki asks, your stories real or made up? Just curious either way, they're interesting. The majority of them are all real. If they're not, I normally label them creepypasta. A good way to know is always go in the description, and at the bottom where I have the sources, I always say if it's claimed to be true. If I remove that, then that means it's true. Like all my 911 calls, all those are real. For the most part, I can't like verify everyone's stories, so it's really hard to say. A lot of them I'll just usually put claimed as real. Because like I said, I can't validate it. Glad you enjoyed it, Bad Vibes. Glad you enjoyed it, my dude. Yeah, I enjoyed Nick Boddick's work. Nick Boddick. The work over there. I'm trying to look right now, see what kind of good stories they have, if there's any recent ones. I'll check this one out. This story is on the subreddit Let's Not Meet, and it was submitted by Vivid Tick, which I think it's supposed to be Witch Teeth, but they used a VV to make the W. I assume Witch Teeth was already taken. And it's titled, The Man with the White Coat. This is a story from a few days ago, reiterated by my brother to me, that was originally told by our mum.
You got them sugar buns.
He's kinda involved, enough to confirm certain aspects and whatever, but yeah, just a forewarning, this is 3 people down the narrative line. I was away on holiday for 5 days with my partner, and in those days my mom was doing a house clear out, getting rid of freezers and 2 sofas. My brother came over to help her. She's only in her 60s, but she has some health issues. And he moved this stuff out to her front garden, which is a small thing. Like a typical British small patch of whatever, a brick wall and a gate, both up to my stomach, and I'm 5'4", bear that in mind. Just enough to separate the door from the pavement. So there's the 2 sofas and a freezer in the garden, along with a wheelie bin. Then it was time for my brother to leave, and he had to clamber over the sofas and wall before having to pick up the bin, which was being put on the street, and place it where he'd hopped the wall. He wasn't going to step over or jump over the sofas over the wall, as they were going to a charity. He'd even joked that if there was a fire that night, my mom would have to escape out the back. Cut to that evening, specifically 11 p.m. The door knocks. The door knocks. That is fucking scary. The door starts knocking. You know, the door. That's blocked by a wheelie bin, freezer, and 2 sofas. My mom, who spent her life teaching her children the ways of stranger danger, apparently has the thought that the knocker must have been my brother. Maybe he'd forgotten something. And instead of looking out the people, which she has covered, she just opens the door. Surprisingly, no, it's not him. Instead, it's a small man. My mom is about 5 foot, 5'1", and this guy is apparently shorter, who seems inoffensive and is carrying an old-fashioned white woman's coat at 11 p.m. He wants the sofas. She informs him that she's already paid for them to be taken away in the morning. He seems saddened, but then perks up, saying something along the lines of, "I brought this coat for a girlfriend. She doesn't like it. Do you want it?" Mom declines. He stands there. She then lies and says, "Yeah, my son brought them out earlier, but they were so heavy, he had to go lie down upstairs." He isn't upstairs. He's at his house, a 40-minute walk away. The guy nods and says he'd be fine carrying one, and he has a friend with a van who can take the second. Mom, now wanting this guy gone, gives in and says he can take the sofas, but they have to be gone by morning. He smiles, thanks her, offers the coat again, and she declines. Then this small-ass strange man picks up the couch that was between the front door and the gate, apparently putting it on his upper back like a turtle. Thanks my mom, and promises he'll be back for the other one. She returns inside, locking the door and windows. Morning arrives, specifically 4 a.m. My mom is a troubled sleeper. The other sofa is gone, and the white coat has been left on the gate. She doesn't go outside. Come actual land of the living morning, the coat is gone. And she phones my brother. He's shook and he phones me. This man, who had to have been under 5 foot tall, somehow managed to get over the wall with what would have been as tall as him, then over 2 sofas, a wheelie bin, a freezer blocking the door, to knock at the door at 11 p.m. to ask if the sofas were available and offer a stranger a coat, before picking up an entire sofa by himself, only to then somehow take the other one quietly during the middle of the night. Creepy or bizarre, either way. If you're out there, white coat guy, let's not meet. Yes. Thomas Fries, thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. Says, great stuff, man. Thanks. Glad you enjoy it, dude. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Thanks so much for the support. All right, Abby. See you here in a little bit. Trying to read through all the comments I missed when I was narrating. You guys are funny. He was a mini Hulk. Yeah, he was. You guys ever seen that video with the dude who's carrying a refrigerator on his back and then he hops on a bicycle and starts pedaling down the road just carrying a full-size refrigerator on his back? Yes. Did I watch The Joker? No, I probably won't either. I'm not into like the superhero movies, so that pretty much makes it so like the spin-offs of the superhero movies really aren't my thing either. Don't watch Batman. The last Batman I saw was the one where Arnold Schwarzenegger was Mr. Freeze. It was back in the 90s, I think. When will I do a face cam? I've done some. I'll probably start doing some more here soon. Wow, that was fast, Abby. Did you just like throw them in bed and throw blankets over them and just, later kids, and just walked out? Love you. Later. Izzy Wizzy 2002 says, I like the videos of the men riding a teeny midget bike. I don't know if I've seen that. What, like those little monkey bikes or whatever they're called? I think they're called monkey bikes. That guy says, you should. It's incredible and not a superhero movie. I might at some point. I'm really bad with movies, like watching them and all that stuff. I just watched the new It. The first time I tried to watch it was when it came out, but I fell asleep within the first 10 minutes. I still haven't watched the last 20 minutes because I fell asleep at the last 20 minutes. But I made it almost through the whole movie, just in time for number 2 to come out. What am I doing for Halloween? I don't know. Maybe I'll stream or something. I don't really celebrate holidays, really. Yeah. My wife hates clowns, so getting her to watch it, she'll actually watch it because she's a big fan of Stephen King, but she hates clowns. I think it's awesome. Tell us an embarrassing moment. Okay. I was in middle school. I was in Fort Bragg, California. And I was in the courtyard they had there, and I was wearing some really cool Darth Maul windbreaker pants, but they were the ones that had the buttons all on the sides, all the way down. So you could just like tearaway pants, essentially. So I'm wearing those, and I don't remember, some kid got mad or something like that, and so me and him started a scuffle. And then he grabs my pants and rips them off right there in the courtyard. So I'm just sitting there in my my knickers, for those of you across the pond. There you go. That was kind of embarrassing. Interesting. And it took a long ass time to button those pants back up. I think they were ripped too. Like a couple of the buttons messed up. So I had to go the rest of the day like that. Then there was a time I lost my shoes at school. So I had to go the whole day of school in my socks. That was fun. It was probably half a day, because I lost them on a field trip to the beach. Yes. Yes, there you go. Skyrenner, I hand out moderation very lightly. Like, it's people that I've seen around the channel for years. In fact, Abby, she's graduated. I actually have her on my private Facebook, too, so she knows what I look like. She knows what my wife looks like. She knows what Thumper, Tigger, everything. There's a couple of subscribers that have been around for a very long time that I've actually added on my private Facebook once I judge that they're good people, and usually that's about the time I make a mod. Like Dr. Blue, Izzy, they're both on my private Facebook. Teddy, he's on my private Facebook. Kiki, she's been around forever. She's sent me a shit ton of movies. I told her I hadn't seen like Psycho and The Godfather and all that, and she's like, oh, I got you. And she mailed them to me with a whole bunch of popcorn. Cheyenne Dory Bob, thank you so much, says Corpse Husband, your maker. Let's read collab. That would be cool. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I'm trying to get back more into collabs. I reached out to Lazy Masquerade, and we might be doing one around Halloween, possibly. Corpse Husband, I didn't ask because I wanted to just kind of chat with him for a while. So I've been chatting with him, and his health isn't doing the greatest still, so I haven't asked him for a collab. I don't want to like throw that on there when he's already got shit going on. So, but let's read. I'll definitely reach out and try to do another collab with. Yeah. Sarah says, can I date you, please? My wife would not be happy, I'll tell you that. Mm-hmm. What's up, Abigail? Good to see you. I hope you're having a good weekend. Yeah, it's not just being around for years because I can't see everybody all the time. So it's people that are always in my streams that I see around, people on Twitter, people on Facebook, people that comment on all my videos. Like, yeah, that's kind of how I go off of it. I don't know I can't judge a lot of people. In fact, I usually go off people's profile pictures. So even when some people change their picture, I'm like, who the hell is this? Someone says, Corpse Husband's been gone a long time. No, he's been posting, bro. He posted a few days ago. Funny thing, the video I did my video, and it starts out with, I'm a girl, and my mother is an addict. He started out the same funny, and I messaged him on Twitter. I was like, so, turns out we're both little girls with addict mothers. Small world. Would you like to buy some condom for your wife? Condoms with a C, so you know, for future reference. My wife doesn't need a condom. I have a penis. So, yeah. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. Abby's like, whenever I hear you go, I think of Billy Bob Thornton and Sling Blade. Never seen the movie, but Billy Bob.
I like that there on Billy Bob. And tell you what, Billy Bob and me back in the day, we had some good old adventures.
Devin says, how do you know if they're good? I want to be on your Facebook. Oh, I'm sure a lot of people want to be on my Facebook, but that ain't gonna happen, I'll tell you what. Like I said, I got to know them for years. I've got to talk to them a lot. Yeah. That's pretty much like, I got to know the person more than just something where they could just be a fake person. As in, like, fake, just trying to get on my profile type of thing, so. Is this your full-time job? It is as of like a week ago. I quit so I can put more time back into this, so. Rayleigh asks, what's the scariest story you've read? Like the one that gave you legit chills for days. Easily the Lolita sex doll story. Absolutely. That one, with hands down, without a doubt, that was the worst story I've ever narrated. Yeah. Koji's like, you need Halloween condom, your maker? Hello. Funny story. Back when I was a kid, my mom used to own a lingerie store, but with a lot of sexual items. I didn't even know at the time, really. Like, I knew what condoms were. And that's where this comes into play. So, there's a playground in the town. And I don't know, I was probably like 9, 10 maybe. And we go to the playground and I meet this guy. And he's only a couple years older than me. And he's got this really cool leather jacket. He's like, hey man, you want this leather jacket? I forget how we talked, but like, cause this was so long ago. I forget the whole conversation, how we met, all that kind of stuff. But he's like, if you want this jacket, just get me a whole bunch of condoms. I was like, all right, dude, I got you. So I went to the store and just stuffed my pockets full of condoms. And realistically at this time, I really don't know what they're fucking used for. I'm a kid. What's up, Alexa? Good to see you. No, I actually didn't see you until just now, Alexa. Sorry. Hello. But yeah, I had pocketfuls of condoms, and this was like the morning, because I'd go there before school and after school. So I had a pocket full of glow-in-the-dark condoms nonetheless. I got the glow-in-the-dark ones too. And I'm sitting at a dentist office for someone. It was a family member or something like that. And then I get picked up by my mom's husband at the time. He picks me up, and I had a friend who was staying the night, so my friend was with me. And he sees my mom's husband at the time, sees my pockets bulging, and he's like, what's that? And I was like, nothing. Pull it out, and there's a whole bunch of condoms. And that was an interesting event. I don't know if they thought I was going to use like 30 condoms as a 10-year-old or what, but yeah, it was pretty funny. Bully's Live. Thank you so much. Says, you've been my favorite horror narrator for a long time. I appreciate that so much. I'm glad you enjoy the content, and there's going to be a lot more out, so you're going to be even happier too. I appreciate the long time support, dude. And the super chat. That really means a lot to me. Yeah, Alexa, glow-in-the-dark condoms. I know. I don't even know if I've ever seen any since. But yeah, glow-in-the-dark condoms. And then when I moved to Oregon, when I first met my wife, obviously she wasn't my wife when I first met her, but we moved up to Oregon. And like the first place we stopped was the sex shop. I don't remember why. Giggity. So we go in there and we didn't buy anything from there because after we get in there, we see that they're boxing up the returned dildos and stuff back into the boxes and taping them up like they hadn't been opened. And I was like, okay, yeah, we're good. And we left. That was the first time I'd ever seen a sex arcade too. Deanna Metler's like, what have I stumbled upon? A rare gem lost in the YouTube algorithm. Bonita's like, glow-in-the-dark condoms sound kind of sexy. I had made the joke for the longest time. You know how tattoos and stuff, now they have the blacklight colors. They're the blacklight ink. I was like, babe, I'm going to get my dick tattooed with a whole bunch of camo all the way up to the tip. So it looks like a little soldier with a helmet on. Oh, man, that's funny shit. Devin's like, yeah, I got it. You have to be safe out there. There's bad people out there. Does your YouTube channel have a Facebook? YouTube does. My YouTube channel does have a Facebook. I have it. I think it's just /YourMaker69. It's in the About tab on my channel page. You can find it all linked there. It's also in the description of all my videos. All that stuff. Alexa asks, so your maker, I'm just curious. How is it you're able to leave your full-time job making teeth and now being full-time YouTube if YouTube keeps being dumb and demonetizing you all the time? Pretty much kind of what I'm doing right now. Streams. I figured streams and podcasts are going to kind of be the way to go to have a little more stability, as well as try to open myself up more for sponsorships and try to promote my Patreon more, because I really don't promote my Patreon as much as I should. And I'm going to try to get more exclusive content for my patrons so that way it makes it more incentivized type of thing. So essentially I'm trying different business models, but with the occasional videos I can get monetized, it helps some. And then with my honestly, members and patrons are pretty much a fallback, kind of. That's why I got to promote it a lot more, that kind of thing. And then I saved up a little bit to make sure I can try to help myself out a little. But yeah, pretty much just diversifying type of thing. Try to become a little more community funded, I guess. And then that way I don't even got to worry about demonetization. I can just do my thing, do the videos I enjoy. Like I want to do a lot more 911 videos, but they're just so damn hard with getting demonetized. Like it wouldn't be a big deal if it was like my story videos. Honestly, I can knock a story video out in like 8 hours. But the 911 videos, those are literally like 2 weeks of work. Like if you were doing full time, like those take like 80 hours. So those ones hurt when they get demonetized. So probably just try to do a more community thing, promote my Patreon. Alexa, I'm going to be starting a podcast. That's why in the Discord, the Patreon Discord, I was asking for topics, because we're going to be starting an actual podcast. I got to figure out what hours are going to be best and all that stuff. Jen Child, thank you so much. I really do appreciate the super chat. It says, love ya. It's been a while since I've chatted with you, but it's also been a while since I've done a live stream. It's good to see you around still. The pigs are doing great. They're fat, happy, all that stuff. Miss Agugu, thank you so much for dropping in. I appreciate you. Spoopy Skeleton says, I'm from Finland. I have no idea what you're talking about. But Suomi, Finland, Perkele. I probably just said something stupid. Devin says, you're amazing. I love your story and what you do, and do what you did for your job before you left it. You do a good job on it. Oh, what did I do before? I made teeth. Actually, all my patrons and channel members got a behind-the-scene video. I recorded the process of how to make teeth. So that way they could see it. They get to see how the liquid turns into little jelly teeth and how we mill out the Bruxer blocks, all that good stuff. So wink wink if you're a patron. Patron's the best way to support. But if you're a patron or a channel member, then you have access to behind the scenes of what I did as my full-time job. I had to be very careful with it because there is doctor-patient confidentiality, so you're not ever going to see any names of any of the patients. But it's a cool little behind the scenes. But that's what I did. Pure Magic says, Ayo, sup, you maker, love your videos. Who is your favorite horror story YouTube other than yourself? Love from Australia. Crikey! I wouldn't be my own favorite channel, actually. I really enjoy Mr. Black Pasta, just because his immersion, like, it really gets me immersed in the stories. Cry Reads is good. Obviously, Lazy Bee Buster, and Mr. Nightmare, but those are ones I always talk about. Mr. Black Pasta I'll be doing a collaboration with here soon. We've been working on one for a while, but I just kind of had to keep putting it off because of my old full-time job. So, yeah. That's pretty much it. Alexa, oh, I didn't see your Discord post. What is a podcast and how does it differ from live streams? It's pretty much a live stream. Yeah, it's pretty much just a live stream. Just labeled podcast, and instead of talking to you, I kind of like talk about topics. So I'm not necessarily right into the chat all the time. Like the private podcasts that I do for my patrons and channel members, when I start doing it, I'll be chatting with you guys. But when I do the actual podcasts, it probably won't be too much chatting. Like, I'll still chat because that's the fun of it, and that'll make it a different podcast. But essentially, like, I have topics. The first one all you guys in the Patreon Discord recommended was like the Winchester Mystery House and just different haunted locations. So the first theme of the first podcast will be haunted locations. So I'll just go through and research it right on the podcast, and we'll just kind of go through what I'll read what I'm doing. But the biggest thing right now, I need to figure out how in the hell to get my screen capture to work on this streaming software, so that way when I press a button you can see what I'm looking at. Right now it just shows a black screen. I don't know why. I'm gonna factory reset everything probably after the stream to see if that helps, and we'll go from there. But yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited. And I'm also going to have my wife hop on a couple of them, even though she doesn't want to. I'm going to make her. Because I will. Rawadi says, I am a dental assistant. That's cool. Hell yeah. Yeah, we get to deal with all them quite a bit. Andrew says, well, I guess I'll be going. Kind of want to start on day 5 of Inktober. Inktober. Ah, Inktober. Is that like a tattoo thing? See y'all later. Yeah, I was sad. I was working on the Friday the 13th. Try to go get a little tattoo. But I don't think I just want a $13 tattoo. It'd probably turn out like shit. What kind of mic do I use? I have an MXL 990 with a USB Scarlett 2i2 interface. I know that El Murray, that's what I was thinking when I was saying I'll make her. It's like, you're a maker. I'll make her. Alright, Pat, I got you, dude. I got you. Let me find one real quick. Another one. Has been about 20 minutes or so. Alright. Sorry, I had to take a sip of my burr. This story was posted on Let's Not Meet by Ariana the Banana. And it's titled, Creepy Man Next Door. I've lived in this house for 3 years now. We moved in when I was 12. I'm a female. I never really met the man next door, just a couple of times. We would see each other outside when I would come home from school. He would never say a word to me, just give me a look that would scare me. One thing you should all know is that I've always had an irrational fear of windows. My worst fear was to see someone's face at night. Another thing you should know is my room's layout. When you walk in, it has 2 big windows, and it's a small room. One faces the house next door, which from it you can see their bathroom and they can see into my full room. My other window just faces into my backyard and I can see a bit of their backyard. I was 14, and it was about 9:30. I was coming home from the 8th grade prom, and I just went to my room as quickly as possible to change out of my dress because I was so sweaty. I get into my room and start taking off my dress until I'm just in my underwear. I was also texting my friend at the same time, so I was completely distracted when something made me look up. And I saw the man in his bathroom and not a single light on in it, and he was staring right at me, grinning. When I realized what was going on, all I thought about doing was turning off the lights and slowly sneaking into my bed and changing into my clothes. There was no period there. Once I did that, it took me a good 20 minutes to get up and leave. I crawled out of bed and onto the floor and opened my door and ran out, and I told my mom. And she was creeped out as well. We told my father 10 minutes later, who then put the blinds on my window. I would see him out in the backyard a couple times later looking into my other window, and I would just hide against the wall, and then out of nowhere he disappeared. We never knew what happened to him. He just vanished. I will never forget that night because it scares me to think of how many other times he watched me undress, or when I've come out of the shower and changed and I just never caught him until that night. The end. The end. There weren't very many periods in that one. Made it a little bit harder to read. This one was posted on Let's Not Meet by Great Buildings. And it's titled The Blood-Curdling Scream That Woke Me Up at 3 a.m. It was Christmas time. My wife and I were staying at her childhood home where her mother now lived all alone. Well, if you include the cats. Meow. The house was on a quiet cul-de-sac in the suburbs. If you're picturing freshly mowed lawns, American flags, and empty sidewalks, you're picturing it right. It's a single-story home with an attached garage out front. The garage has 2 doorways, apart from the electric garage door, of course. One leads to the garden and the backyard. This had an old doggy door from the old days with their dear old Max. Rest in peace, Max. That they covered with a piece of nailed-in wood. They had always made me slightly uncomfortable. That had always made me slightly uncomfortable before. But I figured it had been that way for years, so what's the worst that could happen? The second door leads to the kitchen. Hollow core. It could stop a mouse, but not much else. Definitely not something that wanted in, or someone. We were asleep in my wife's childhood bedroom at the front of the house at 3 a.m. I was in that deep, dark recess of sleep. You know, you're in the diving well and you're submerged 100 meters below the surface in black water, protected from the real world by miles of nothingness. Then I heard it. The scream. What are you doing? It was my mother-in-law's voice. Oh wait, shit, I fucked that up. What are you doing? It was my mother-in-law's voice echoing down the hallway. To me, lost in a sea of sleep, it sounded like a jet engine roaring past my eardrum. I bolted up. What happened next happened in a matter of seconds. But about that scream, even though I was dead asleep, I heard enough to sense the urgency behind it. It wasn't an, "Oh, you scared me," type of scream. This was different, and I knew it. Not consciously, but my lizard brain, that piece we retrained from our primeval ancestors, knew something was wrong. Primitive ancestors. We knew something was wrong. I watch and read a fair amount of true crime, and this scream awakened that horrible fear. The one that says, "This can't really be happening to me, can it?" Honestly, in that second of the night, it sounded like someone was about to be murdered. You ever wonder if you're a fight or flight type of individual? I always have, and I came to know something about myself after this night. I'm a fighter. I leapt out of bed, growled, in the manliest voice I could muster. "I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker!" And took off running. I tore open the bedroom door and ran into the hallway. There at the end, I saw my mother-in-law, nightgown on, look of utter shock on her face, standing still. We make eye contact as I continue toward her. She then turns her head, looks directly into the kitchen, I hurry past her and I round the corner into the kitchen. The hollow core door is obliterated, shards everywhere. I look through the open frame and see the electric garage door is open. I push ahead. As I run into the garage, I hear it. The sound of someone hopping into a running car just outside of view. Just as I make it onto the driveway, I see a car peeling out from the sidewalk adjacent to the house. But the adrenaline is still pumping. And who am I to say no to adrenaline? So, like an idiot, I run barefoot after the car. I give a good go, but I'm no Michael Johnson and even couldn't catch a speeding car, and even he couldn't catch a speeding car. It soon vanishes down the street, and I'm left all alone. The police showed up within 3 minutes, which I have to say makes me feel a lot more at ease with my mother-in-law living there. They took our statements. My mother-in-law said she heard a noise, the hollow door being kicked in. Walked into the kitchen where she encountered a burglar, a small framed woman. The police theorized she was working as part of a team. Her job was to squeeze through the doggy door, kick in the hollow core, open the electric garage door for her accomplice. According to the police, the burglars were most likely thought nobody was home. Fortunately, my mother-in-law must have caught her off guard and scared her, in addition to my manly growl, of course. Rrr. But it feels good to know that everyone is safe. And I learned that I guess I've got a lot of fight in me. And for the record, we bought the heaviest goddamn wooden door you've ever seen to replace that hollow core. I'd like to see a mouse try and get through that. Edit. I want to offer a heartfelt thanks to all of you for your incredible kindness you've shown for my family's well-being and for my writing. You didn't have to encourage this aspiring writer, but you did. So you have no one to blame but yourselves when more of my writing is foisted onto the world. The end. Is it playing something else now? Why am I seeing a picture on my background? That's so weird. It is playing. Was it doing that the whole fucking time? That is so goddamn annoying, man. I must have pressed a button.
Why is that on my fucking screen?
Hold on, I'm trying to find out what's going on. It's like it's turning shit back on. That's crazy. Was there any noise or was it just the video? Hopefully it was just the video. Hopefully it wasn't the noise. Okay. F in chat. Yeah, I turned off the audio when I very first started. I was chatting over myself. It turns out I had a filler stream going. I muted it, but I didn't go and turn it off, I guess, so yeah. Oh, yeah. Whoops. Okay, cool. Just the video. That's fine. Fucking background's no big deal. I was trying to make sure at least the story, the audio, was good. Bro, it's hot as shit. Hold on, I'm gonna turn on my fan. What's up? Devin's like, I think your house is haunted. When we moved in, we would hear so many sounds. We thought that too. It sounded like someone walking in the attic or something like that. And all kinds of stuff. Trying to read through some of the comments. Like I said, I didn't know it was playing the video for the background, old one. Why is my doll not fucking melting? My screen shouldn't just be black. There should be a doll melting. Let me see if my fire one works. I don't see a fire one. What in the world?
You got them sugar buns. Oh yeah, sugar buns. Alejandro coming in with the $10 sugar buns.
Thank you so much. Says, I love your channel. Will you be dressing up for Halloween? Probably not. I can't remember the last time I dressed up as Halloween. For Halloween. Probably when I was 17. I didn't go trick-or-treating. I just dressed up. Just cause. Yeah. Yeah. Abby, thank you so much. Says, how are the kitties and piggies?
Sugar buns.
Random question. If you could have a meal with any 4 people, living or dead, who would it be? I would have a meal. I would have a meal with my dad. I don't know who the fuck he is, but I think that'd be kind of cool. At least kind of see him, see where I come from.
Say, hey, I came from your dick.
I'm a fucking idiot. That would be one. Another one would be my mom, just to make it awkward as fuck. Just want to throw that out there. That would be fun as fuck. So my mom, my dad, who I don't know. I know my mom. Yeah. Who else would make that a really badass dinner? Bob Marley. Gotta have Bob there, me and him.
Smoke the whole area up, you know what I'm saying?
So there's 3. Harambe. Number 4. Harambe. How could I ever forget Harambe? There we go.
There you go.
Thanks so much for that support. Yeah, I would say that. Dollface, what's up? I don't think I said hello to you. Good to see you. How's the Rescue Bunny doing? The Rescue Bunny, he was named by patrons when the patrons and channel members, we did a private stream and they named him Trix. So the baby bunny is now named Trix and he's doing good, and now he's brought a shit ton of other bunnies to our yard. So now I think he has a girlfriend that started coming over, and she's got some really long ears, but she's cool. She's a little bit bigger than him, not much, but yeah. Story narration master X1224 asks, I love your channel. When is your next story coming out? Probably tomorrow. It's been out for my patrons and channel members for like a day or 2. I have 2 sentences I need to re-record because for some reason my audio glitched. So the sentences sound weird. And then I gotta re-export it, re-upload it, and then yeah. It's already recorded. It's like it was like 40 minutes long, 40 minutes long, something like that. It's a creepypasta one, this one. So yeah. Oh, and Tigger and Thumper are doing good. Sorry, I completely forgot, Abby. Yeah, they're doing great. Thumper, I'm looking at him right now. He's meowing because he wants more food. He woke me up because he wanted food. He's a fat cat, just so you know. Thumper. I don't know if you can hear him meowing in the background. Come here and meow, boy. I don't know if you can hear him meowing.
Get over here, boy.
Come here, Thump. Come here, boy. He's like a little dog. He's walking over to me now, too. Come here. All the way over here. Fat boy. Alright, I got Fat Boy out here with me. I'm gonna hold him until he meows for you. He'll want down eventually. But he's chilling on my lap. In fact, his face is right in front of the microphone. So when he meows, you'll know. He sounds adorable. He is adorable. Actually, some of my channel members throw that custom emote of Thumper's face, so the people that don't know what he looks like can see his face. Please, Alexa, someone like that, throw out the kitty face for me. The face that hopefully they share is Thumper's face. I caught him in the middle of a yawn, and I cut it out and made it an emote. He's not gonna meow. I'm trying to make it so he wants down without going into an asthma attack, because he's got asthma. So I don't want him to have an asthma attack. Oh, there was a meow. You probably heard that one. Yeah, thank you, Abby. That's Thumper. That's his face right there. Thank you, Alexa. Yeah. Yeah, Alexa, he does reach under the door. And in fact, he opens the door now because our bathroom off of our bedroom has one of those in-the-wall doors that slide out from inside the wall, so it doesn't actually have a latch. So he'll actually sit there and just like smack the door till it opens a little, and then he shoves his paw in between it and then just forces it open enough to get his nose in there, and then just forces his face in there and slowly forces it around his entire body. But yeah, he still tries to get in. Sometimes I'm just like, leave me the fuck alone. And then my wife will come get him out. Yeah, start your coffee. If it annoys them, it annoys them. I don't care. Satan was like, meow for us, chunky boy. But yeah, he's my boy. He woke me up like, I was asleep. I probably got like 6 hours sleep last night. I'm trying to get my schedule back on a day schedule so I can do the podcast. It's just been so damn hard. So I think I can actually go to bed early tonight because I barely slept. But he came up to my face and he's just like, meow, meow. And I'm like, bro. And he just wanted food. He's so funny. And if I don't answer him, he'll just lay next to my head and just lick my head for hours. I've woken up sometime and my head hurts because he's just been licking my head. And I got a cowlick stuck all day. Even if I shower, doesn't go away. I don't know what's in his saliva. Probably fucking feces because he licks his ass. And it's just the temperature change. Our window cracked and my wife's like, and cuddled into a ball. Could have been who? Tom? Oh yeah, Tom. She named our Roadrunner here Tom. We have a Roadrunner that every day comes and knocks on the window just to screw with Thumper and Tigger. Yeah. You should go live so we can see Mr. Thumper and yourself. I'll do that for my podcasts. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna actually have my face on my podcast. I haven't shaved. I look like a hillbilly. Right there on there, boy. Yeah, I haven't shaved or anything, you know what I mean? And I need a haircut too. Even though I'm going bald, I still need a damn haircut. Don't let him lick your face. I'm asleep. I don't let him lick my face. He licks my head. Like he thinks it's fur and he just licks forever. Kaylin says, "Your maker, you were one of the first narrators I ever listened to years ago, and you're still my favorite, although I'm partial to nightmarish tales. You're a fucking traitor." Nah, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoy the channel. I'm glad I could help get you into the genre. It's a wonderful genre to be in. Do I have a dog? No. And once these animals die, I'm not getting another. Turns out, I'm extremely allergic to cats, and guinea pigs, and dogs, and mold, and cockroaches. I didn't know you could be allergic to cockroaches. And I'm allergic to whatever chemicals produced when we have a monsoon here. And cedar. And mesquite. Which is funny because my mom worked in a log yard when I was a kid. So I was always playing in the sawdust piles. Which would explain all my fucking rashes. I'd have rashes so goddamn bad that they would itch. And I would actually pour coffee onto them. Because they fucking itch. And for some reason heat helped. And then I made the dumbass mistake pouring coffee on there, and there was sugar in the coffee, so then all the fucking bees were chasing me all day, and then I got stung. It was still a lot of fun though. Superior, chill out with the spam, please. Please. I don't know what you need help with, but if you would type it in a message, that would help. Rawadi's like, I remember when he licked your arm. Yeah, I was working on the 911 video and I was just so focused. And he always sits there and licks me. So after a while, it did start to hurt, but then I just get focused because I was like, okay, let me finish this bit of text and then I'll try to get him to stop. And I just would keep doing that. And next thing I know, it's been like freaking, I don't know what, 45 minutes. And my arm was like raw. It hurt for days. Like it started to crack because it was so dry. It was right to the point where he probably got to one layer of skin left or something like that. Like it sucked. It hurt. I actually had to put some lotion and stuff on it. Yeah. Thanks, Jacob. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, mods. I appreciate you doing the God's work. Thank you, just a Green Day fan. I appreciate that. Alexa's like, your maker, narrate erotic stories, please. I'll pay you top dollar if you do. That's one thing I've thought about too. I can't do it on YouTube. I can't even talk about a story with anything to do with sex on YouTube. But I've thought about that for my patrons. I'm assuming you did hear the book I did with Eden. It was a book for a New York Times bestseller and her friend, the erotic horror Dance in the Dark. I'm sure you caught that book. But yeah, that was the only erotic horror I've done so far. Alana Pons says, I absolutely love your channel and content. Super thumbs up, dude. Thanks so much. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend, and I really do appreciate the support. Thank you. Yeah, but I have thought about it, and I'm going to get back into writing my book too and get that up for patrons and all that stuff. I think I'm actually just restart from the beginning on my book. I want to write a different book than the one I started. So I still have the version of the book I'm writing, but I'm going to do a different story. I'm weird like that. That's probably why I never really get too much done, is I get started on something, and I'm like, oh shit, I want to do this. And then I stop and start it. That's how the 911 video the whole series came about, is I was actually doing a scary story video, and then like randomly in my head, I just started thinking about a 911 call I heard, and I was like, what the fuck ever happened to that? And then I researched it, and I was like, wait a minute. If I'm out here researching this, that means there's other people who want to know what the fuck happened to these things too. So I immediately stopped what I was working on and actually stayed up for 30 hours straight from beginning to end and just did an entire 911 video. And that was how the whole series started. It was just a random ass idea. So Alexa, it's one, if you don't have Audible, the book thing, you can get the free month on there for free, and you can get one free book with it, and then you can download it and then unsubscribe so you don't get charged, and then now you just got the free audio book. But yeah, it's called Dance in the Dark. Make sure you find the one that's narrated by your maker, and it's by Chris Allen and Melody Ann. But yeah, Eden did the female voice in that book, and I was doing all the editing. We have a sex scene in there in the kitchen. I think I kind of raped her. That's kind of what I gathered from it. And like there was a scene that's like bent her over the kitchen sink, and what was it? It was like her nipples were smacking against the dishwater and something. And I was just like, bro, I should totally add some sound effects right here that just go type of thing. I thought that'd be hilarious. I didn't, because I didn't want to take away from the story, but I thought that would have been fucking hilarious. A nipple against water sound. Yeah. What's my favorite story I've narrated? I don't know. I had a lot of fun doing the Dance in the Dark one, just because like I've never talked about my cock that much. I've never had sex scenes and all that. It reminded me of the books my mom used to read when I was a kid. So yeah, I narrate the whole thing, Alexa. Except for one chapter and Eden's lines. She does that. Eva, thank you so much, comes in and says, I just want to say hi. You're an awesome narrator and you're handsome. Oh, I appreciate that. You too kind. But yeah, I've thought about doing some more erotic horror. Why not? Do I play video games? If so, do I play Call of Duty? I play video games. I don't play Call of Duty. Lately, Apex has been my addiction. Occasionally, I'll play some Rocket League, Battlefield 4, Dead by Daylight. Yeah, stuff like that. My wife plays Fallout 76. She's been really into that. Alexa says, well, you should talk more about it. Talk about it now. I'm channel member and patron. Go, go, go. I can't do that. Do you know how many people would be mad if I'm just sitting here talking about my cock for the whole stream? Not to mention it'd be awkward as shit because I'm not pretending to be a character at that point. But yeah, I think you'll really enjoy that. And it was a lot of fun too. And they did say if they do a second one, they want me to narrate it again. So that'll be a lot of fun. Cakey babe, thanks so much for dropping in. I hope you have a great night. I like how you are a bunk. What is that? Is that like an acronym for something? I like how you a bunk.
Too bad you just opened up Pandora's box. LMAO.
Dollface says, your maker, I almost died the other day. You would never guess what the fuck happened. Well, if it's going to be something that rare, I'm going to think that an African elephant started chasing a zebra. The zebra ran into a tree, which knocked a koala onto your head while it was holding a pineapple. I'm glad you're okay. Hopefully that's not what happened. Although that would be hilarious. Oh, you like how I enunciate? Oh, I appreciate that. Alexa says, fine, save it for Discord or Patreon. That's probably what I'd do. If you wanted something like that would have to be like a patron member exclusive kind of thing. Story narration master said, I just downloaded your book just now on my phone on Audible. Your voice is soothing in the book. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a really interesting book. My mom was like, I'm going to get it. And I'm like, no, you're not. Scouse Mouse said, just got the book. Looking forward to it. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure you guys leave a review when you're done. That would help out a lot. I appreciate it. I just kicked my microphone. Well, we've been live about an hour now. So I think it'd be a good time to put a story on. I think I'll play the new video. The one that'll be out like tomorrow or something like that. I know my patrons and members have heard it, but we can all listen to it live together. Oh wait, Dollface, you had a stroke. Holy shit. I didn't see your answer. I saw someone else say something about almost died, and I was like, wait, what was their answer? I'm so glad you're okay. That's some scary stuff. Yeah, I'm really glad you're okay. Hopefully it has none of the side effects like you hear where people can't talk properly or they gotta relearn something. Dang, I'm really glad you're okay. I thought maybe you were exaggerating almost by you almost died, but yeah. Hello, Jeff. Good to see you, Sierra Long. I'm glad you made it. Yeah, life can get pretty nuts sometimes. As Dollface can tell us. Holy crap. I'm glad you're okay. Yeah, that's definitely worrisome. My grandpa's been having a lot of them lately. We've been worried about him. Says, all my exes live in Texas. Yeah, I hope you're feeling a lot better, Dollface. Glad at least I can help try to take that off your mind. Some. In the hospital 23 days. Holy shit. Marla said, I had a stroke once, then he let me stroke it again. I like you. I like you a lot. What's up, Katie Williams? Good to see you. Oh yeah, I don't really play any of the first-person shooters on mobile games. I only have one of those little stupid ones where you get heroes and stuff like that. That's the only ones I play. Alright, well, I think we'll go ahead and play this next story. This one I'm not going to be reading live because this is going to be the... this will be the next video that's coming out. This is the one that my patrons and channel members, they've had for couple days now. It's a creepypasta written by Nick Boddick, and you can find more of his work at nickboddick.com. What's up, Miss Bellatrix? Good to see you. Perfect timing. Hello. So yes, we'll get into this. Patreon channel members, like I said, you guys have heard this obviously. I'm gonna cut it off before they get the bonus that you guys have at the end of the video. because that made-up story is just for you guys. But the main aspect of the story, you know, the creepy pasta part they can have. You'll be reading it dead? No, I'm not gonna be dead, but how long will I be live? I'm not really sure. Not really sure. This was kind of just like an impromptu stream. Figured it'd be cool to chat with everyone. It's been a while. Trying to keep myself awake so I can actually flip my schedule so that way I can start the podcast. I'm hoping to start it Monday. Just trying to find a good hour-wise, get topics lined up for each episode, that kind of thing. Figure it all out. So, yes. Pretty Posies says, love your channel. Please upload every day. I'm most certainly going to try. I'm just trying to find out a mix of different content because Reddit stories aren't going to work for an everyday thing. They've kind of become lackluster. So, yeah. Apple bottom cheese, boots with the fur. I'm going to get copyright claimed now. Alright, I've said this enough, but let's go ahead and get into this story. Let me pull it up real quick. Let me find it. Detective Full. That's the one I need right there. Detective Full. And
I've heard a lot of stories.
There we go, got that. Let me get it all ready. Hopefully the audio will be good. Okay, so I'm gonna mute myself. I'll be listening with you guys. So I'll be chatting live. But this is gonna be us listening to the next video together. This is a series called, I don't have it open. It was something like My Grandfather is a Retired Detective. It's stories, this is creepypasta, keep that in mind. These are works of fiction written by Nick Boddick. Nicole says, do a collab with Lazy. Don't tell me how to live my life. Do I come and tell you how to live your life? No, I plan on doing it soon. I reached out to him actually yesterday asking if he wanted to collab. So we might be doing one here shortly. Fucking Alexa. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the story.
We're gonna get discouraged spaghetti. Spaghetti.
I'll try to adjust the audio as we go.
It's from my grandfather. He was a detective for 27 years of his life, and I grew up listening to the tales of he and his fellow lawmen.
I don't know why it's echoing like that. So we're gonna have to do this a different way. I don't know what is up with that. That's probably the same reason when I play my video games now, it echoes like fucking crazy. I don't know why I don't know why the screen's black, dude. Like, seriously, I've already actually, like, I don't get it. It's about to change here because I have to play the video a different way. I have it right now where it should be showing fire as a background, but it's showing nothing as a background. Like, it even shows that, I don't know what the fuck. Going through, like, it's been non-stop issues with this software. That's why I'm gonna factory reset it after the stream. But I feel that the background's annoyingly boring. I don't know why it's like that. In fact, we've had a lot of issues tonight, but I guess that's the perk of live. So I'm gonna have to link this a different way. Because for some reason there's a crazy ass echo. I don't know why. So I'm gonna Detective Final.
I've heard a lot of stories from my grandfather.
Local file.
He was a detective for 27 years of his life, and I grew up listening to the tales of he and his fellow.
I hope that's not loud as shit. I'm gonna have to adjust the audio and everything. This is gonna play it a bit different. I'm gonna have to listen to it through my phone with you guys. So I'm gonna be on a delay as well, but I'll be listening and watching what you guys say. So you better watch your fucking mouth. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that echo. Very weird. So mind your volume for the next couple of seconds because this is going to pop up. It also should have a background that comes up automatically with it. I don't know why my normal background's not working.
I'm factory resetting all this shit tonight because I don't know what the hell's going on with everything.
So, yeah. Santana was like, I thought you were trying something new. Nah, man, just nothing's working right. Every time I go for a live stream, I have an issue. I'll have all my settings perfect, and then I log in the next time, everything's fucked up. It's like, bro, why? So, yeah, everyone adjust your volume, turn it lower. I'm going to start this, and then you can adjust it from there, because I don't know how loud it's going to be. Sorry. And then I'll be back. Grandfather. He was a detective for 27 years of his life, and I keep fucking it up. Let me restart it the right way. I've heard a lot of stories from my grandfather. He was a detective for 27 years of his life, and I grew up listening to the tales of he and his fellow lawmen. As a child, he obviously amended the stories quite a bit to make them age appropriate. But as I grew up, more and more the true stories came out. Starting about 2 years ago, my grandpa got sick. He's been on a slow decline ever since, and while it's been one of the hardest things I've ever had to deal with, his illness acted as the catalyst for a set of stories he'd never before brought up. He said he kept them filed away in a deep folder he doesn't like to open. He calls them the impossible ones. But this last one, the one he told me last night, he says it's still the one that keeps him up some nights. The one he thinks about every day. He says he's looked over the case files more times than he can remember, done a full re-examination of it all more times than he can remember, and it never makes any more sense. He said he only told me now because he can feel in his bones that he doesn't have a lot of time left. So what follows is my transcription of the case verbatim. I've only excluded his coughing fits and any other off-topic remarks made during the telling of the case. The case was a murder-kidnapping. At least that's what it looked like, and it was me and Olson. I've told you about him. There was a family, the Nebels. There was Benjamin, the husband, Jennifer, the wife, and Katie, their 6-year-old daughter. One of their neighbors had gone out for the paper around 6 a.m. and saw the Nebels' front door wide open. When she went over to see if everything was okay, she saw the wife's body. The neighbor called 911 and eventually we were sent over there. Now, when I say there was no outward sign of struggle, I mean it. There was no sign whatsoever that anything had happened. Well, except for the dead body. But even her body, there were no wounds, no marks of any kind. I'm getting ahead of myself. On our way to the house, it came over the radio that the husband and daughter were unaccounted for. If you're thinking, the husband did it. We did too, obviously. Problem was, both the family's cars were still in the garage, so we think they might be on foot. Some officers canvassed the neighborhood and no one had seen them, including 2 neighbors who were on their porches for hours starting into the early morning. No one had heard any kind of commotion coming from their house either. I mentioned the wife's body. She didn't have a hair out of place. She was on her back in the kitchen. About a third of her upper body was under the table. We found out after the autopsy that, well, she'd just died. There was no cause that they could find. She'd been a perfectly healthy woman, didn't smoke, didn't drink, ate right, exercised. It was like she'd just blinked her eyes and gone from alive to dead. Anyways, we searched the house. We went through it with a fine-tooth comb, basement to attic. Found nothing. No evidence of a struggle, no weapon, nothing. So we left. We'd spent hours in that house. Thought maybe we should come back in a day or two with some fresh eyes. We went over to where Benjamin worked. He was a supervisor at a lumber yard. According to his coworkers, he'd shown up at work that morning just before 5 a.m. When he got in, he worked on this narrow crate thing that he was building in his office. Something he told his coworkers was a project for his house. According to the other morning supervisor, he'd only built about half of the thing. Around 6:15 he was running to the bathroom, and that was the last anyone saw him. They never saw him leave. While we were at the lumberyard, I'd realized I'd left my notes at the house. We drove back over there and we got there while they were taking the wife's body away. As soon as we walked in, the stench hit us like a bus. It was what a newly discovered but long dead body smells like. We knew it obviously couldn't have been the wife. We asked a few officers and forensic folks that were still at the house what the smell was, and they told us that it had only started a few minutes before we'd gotten back there. I'm not exaggerating when I say the smell was everywhere in the house. I've smelled some dead ones before, but this smelled like every wall in the place was lined with corpses. Pretty quickly, we found that the smell was strongest leading up to the attic. Now, I told you before, we checked the attic. I checked it myself probably 5 times, but we went back up, me and Olson. I was up the little pull-down ladder first, and when I poked my head up, I saw something. I saw a piece of wood, like a box, a crate. It was shaped kind of like a rifle case, maybe 3 foot tall, 2 foot wide, 6 inches deep, rectangular. It was standing straight up, and there was blood leaking from it. We call the photographers and all the people in there. They all do their thing, and finally they pull out the nails and open the box. Out falls the husband. Think about that. This guy was maybe 5'10", 140 pounds, and he was put in a 3 foot by 2 foot by 6 inch crate. His bones were just a mess. His insides, all his organs, they were flattened. They were just wet, squishy pieces of fabric almost. He was stuffed in there like, I don't know what like. He was just a rectangle of blood, skin, and parts. His skin had the discoloration of a body that had been dead for about 2 weeks, which obviously didn't make sense since they'd seen him at work that morning. He was also missing his eyeballs. We were standing there trying to rationalize the whole situation when something caught everyone's ears at the same time. A little girl's voice calling out for help. What followed was a sequence of all the people in the attic and the rest of the house and the people out on the lawn and the few people that were standing on the other side of the yellow tape, all saying some variation of the phrase, "It sounds like it's coming from over there." Problem was, every single person swore they heard it coming from a different direction. Me, I heard it from right above me. No kidding. The first time I heard that little voice say, I looked straight up, right up to the rafters. Of course she wasn't there. It was just my brain's response to where it perceived her voices coming from. We had to listen to every one of those people tell us where they thought they heard her voice come from. People swore up and down they'd heard it come from the kitchen cabinets, the bedroom closets, the refrigerator, the tank behind the toilet, for God's sake. People on the street said they heard it from underneath cars, behind trees, on the sides of the house next to the Nebbles. Everyone heard her voice for about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes tops. And then it just stopped. About 2 weeks after that day, the wife's sister had a funeral for Jennifer. It went fine. They buried her and all that. The husband's remains were cremated not long after that and put on display in a different part of the cemetery. I don't remember exactly when it happened, but at some point over the next few weeks after he was cremated, someone stole his urn. It was missing for about 6 months, and then one day we get a call. Find out a groundskeeper at the cemetery had called in. The wife had been dug up and posed like she was leaning against the grave just relaxing. She had the urn in her hands, but it was wrapped in skin. Well, they tested it, and it was the husband's skin. They'd pretty well reconstructed the man after he was poured out of the crate, and he hadn't been missing any skin. And remember how I told you the skin was discolored? Well, this skin was perfectly preserved. And inside the urn, with his ashes, there were 3 eyeballs. Only one of them was the husband's. It's been, 22 years? And I still hear that girl's voice calling out sometimes. And I don't mean my memory or mind is playing tricks on me. Ask your grandmother. She's heard her. The same 6-year-old voice. And then, I remember it was May 12th, 2007. I was going to pick up a pizza for us. I saw that girl. I saw Katie Nebel. I don't mean I saw her grown up. I don't mean I saw a little girl that looked like her when she was young. I mean I saw the fucking kid. She was standing outside the Walgreens right by our house crying. I pulled over and got out of the car and I started to walk up to her. I can't explain how I felt in that moment. I was nauseous. I was so afraid. Terrified. More than I'd ever been. She looked right at me and said in that same voice, "Help me, please." I don't know what the hell happened, but she just disappeared. I never took my eyes off her. She was just there 1 second, gone the next. I thought I was losing my mind. I was seriously worried about my mental health. But then, about an hour and a half after I got back home, the phone rang. It was Olson. Hadn't talked to the son of a bitch in 5 years and he called me that night. Said he saw Katie Nebel sitting on a bus stop bench crying. He lived on the other side of the country. Killed himself the next day. There's never a good ending to those stories, I know. If there was, they wouldn't be the impossible ones. I'd have figured them out one way or another. And I know I've told you some others, but that girl's voice still wakes me up in the middle of the night. Sometimes I hear it downstairs, sometimes from the bathroom. Sometimes I'll be laying on my side facing away from your grandmother, and it'll sound like it's coming from her mouth. We never found a trace of that girl. Nothing. I told you what they do with those cases. God damn it. I'm sorry. That's it. That's the worst one. Some of the other ones might sound worse to you, but that's the worst for me. Okay. He told me that he didn't want to talk about it anymore, and said that now that he's told me, he'd never talk about it again. He did, however, tell me about a number of his other cases. I told my grandpa about the response he got from his case I posted last week, and he was thrilled. Going through the comments together put a smile on his face like I haven't seen in some time. He saw that so many people wanted to hear more of the impossible ones, and he encouraged me to transcribe more of the cases he told me about, in addition to agreeing to both tell me more and answer any questions you may have. So here we go. Back before me and Olson were partners, I was with this guy Manthe. He was a weird son of a bitch, but he was good at the job. He'd been on about a decade longer than me, and he'd taught me quite a bit, as a matter of fact. He was the one that told me there were times where I wouldn't be able to solve the case. He said it wouldn't be because of me or lack of skill or anything like that. Wouldn't be evidence. Wouldn't be the witnesses. He said there'd be times when... How'd he put it? You'll have all the pieces to the puzzle. You'll know what the puzzle should look like. But for a reason you don't know and can't understand, they just won't fit. Back in the late 80s, we drew a suspected homicide at this apartment building. Real pile of shit. Neighbors had complained about a smell coming from one of the units, so some officers went to check it out. Ends up we get the call. The girl was found wrapped completely in dental floss. I mean, each of her fingers and toes were individually wrapped, as were each of her limbs, her torso, her ears, and the rest of her head. And then another layer went over everything. It was so wrapped, none of her skin was visible. Can you imagine that? How long that must have taken? There were no weave patterns either. They just wrapped it around once, then continued with each new wraparound touching the one before it. How much floss do you think that took? Hundreds of rolls, if not more. Thousands, maybe. Never seen anything like it but that one time. Anyways, they identified the girl. She was some kid, 17 years old, from a couple states over. If I remember right, her name was... what was it? Kelly. That's it. Now, the guy who lived in the apartment hadn't been seen around the building for a few days. We talked to the neighbors, people that lived on the same floor, a few others maybe. Apparently this guy, His name was Lucas. He kept to himself. We went to talk to the neighbors. None of them knew his name, and a few of them they'd go, "Oh, do you mean the guy from whatever his unit was, 512 I think, whatever. Guy's an asshole." Or something to that effect. He never talked to anybody, never nodded in the halls, nothing. He'd lived in the building 6 years, but for the last year, 10 months or so, no one had seen him. His rent was paid by check through the mail, and he'd had his mail forwarded to a P.O. box. So the scene. His apartment was dark. We'd shown up there in the morning around 9 a.m., but his apartment made it feel like it was midnight. He'd painted the windows black, same with the walls. But the walls were, you know those cliche ransom letters where all the words are made up of different letters cut out from magazines? It was that, but over every inch of every black wall in the place. The messages were disturbing. I don't remember what it all said verbatim, but they were just these sort of vague confessions. "It's almost the end. He's coming for me. Please stop." That type of stuff. It was a 2-bedroom apartment, and floor to ceiling, wall to wall, it was just hundreds and thousands of magazine letters making words that formed this guy's pleas for help. Fingerprint folks came in and did their thing. Like I said, this guy lived alone. Never had a noise complaint, no one ever saw him with anyone else. Neighbors in the next units over and across the hall never heard a peep from his apartment. Not even a TV or radio. But somehow there was no less than, 90 some odd different fingerprints all over his house? Weirder than that is all the fingerprints were all carefully placed. Like one person went up to the table, wall, refrigerator, door, whatever, placed their thumb down, then another person came up, placed theirs down, and so on and so forth. The entire apartment, every surface had these fingerprints, intricately placed, evenly spaced. We found out that the only ones they identified, 2 sets of fingerprints, one belonged to Lucas and another to a woman who had died in West Virginia in the early 60s, a few years before he was born. So the girl that was found dead in the apartment, she had no connection to Lucas that anyone could find. She also had no fingerprints on her, but it didn't look like anyone had intentionally wiped her down. They said she'd been dead for a week and that the cause of the death was, get this, suffocation by dental floss. And in the course of her autopsy, they found that a few of her organs were also wrapped in floss the same way her body was. Her heart, liver, a lung, her kidney, her spleen, all wrapped up in dental floss. And her stomach was bursting at the seams with it, just like her esophagus. Anyways, we had our suspect, this Lucas guy. We started digging, looking for associates, places he spent time, things like that. Pretty soon we found out he did some off-the-book works at a landscaping company. Guy there tells us he hadn't been to work in 3 days and that he'd figured he'd quit. We pulled a few more threads, but nothing seemed to pan out. It looked like this guy killed Kelly and then went off the grid. Then about a week and a half after the case, we'd put Lucas's pictures everywhere, and if I'm not mistaken, the higher-ups told us to tell everyone it was for robbery. We started getting calls from different businesses saying Lucas had come in. Stopped for gas, got a burger at McDonald's, picked up shampoo at a grocery store. All these menial tasks, probably 15 different things. Problem was, he apparently did all these things at locations that spanned the whole city. And he did them all at the same damn time. 10:48 a.m. Something like that. All the security camera footage matched up. His credit card records matched up. All the purchases happened at the exact same time. And I'll be damned if it wasn't him at all the locations. Not a lookalikes, but him. Now a lot of stuff I'm telling you. It's weird, yeah? When it all happened, that's really all it was. It was just weird. Odd. It was never really all that scary. Some things were, of course, but it generally was just stuff that boggled the mind. When we watched those security tapes, though, it's hard to explain it. Me, Manthe, and anyone else who was in the room at the time, we watched these tapes. Every time. I think there were 11 places we had to watch the tapes. And every time he'd stand for just a few seconds, 5 to 10 seconds, and then he would just stare at the cameras, stone-faced. And it was like he was looking into my soul. I can only describe how it felt for me, but I know for a fact the others felt the same way. It felt like someone was squeezing their fist around my heart. The breath left me. I started sweating. It was the worst fear, pure terror. 2 of the security guys had to leave the room. One started hyperventilating, another threw up. It only lasted as long as we were looking straight at the cameras. When he'd look away, everyone would breathe a sigh of relief. It was... Anyways, Manthe came to me the last day of us going over the security cameras and told me he had something. Son of a bitch had gone over the pictures from the apartment of all the magazine letters and he found a pattern. There were certain letters that were written in a particular font. He put those through a cipher. What do you call it? Caesarean shift? If you moved the letters around, I don't remember how many, 4, 5, something, it made a name that kept repeating. It was the longest of long shots, but we started looking into Bruce Hiller. Turns out Bruce Hiller had another apartment over in town near our town. We talked to the people there. They tell us he's the nicest guy in the world. They don't see him much, but whenever they do, he's polite, conversational, and a really good guy. His apartment is immaculate. I mean, it looked like he went over the entire place with a Q-tip every day, every hour. The building itself was... It was decent, kinda run down, but his place, for what it was spotless. We go through everything, and pretty soon it's time to go check the basement storage unit. The way they were set up was that they were partitioned off with little wood and wire doors. You could see everything. In Lucas's or Bruce's, whatever his damn name was, in his, it was packed from floor to ceiling with stuff on either side of the door. But we could see through the door. And there he was, towards the back of the unit with his back to us, reaching up onto a shelf. We could barely see him, just kind of make out his silhouette. The only light down there was a single bulb hanging from the ceiling with pull strings. We shine our lights into his unit, pull our weapons, tell him to turn around slowly and keep his hands up. He doesn't move. He just stays there, reaching up on the shelf. We move forward a bit, keep telling him to turn around, show us his hands, blah blah blah. But he doesn't move an inch. The building manager had rapport with him apparently, so we get him and he tries pleading with him to turn around. But Lucas just kept standing there with his arm up and his back to us. Manager unlocks the door, we get him out of there. Now this was a year or 2 before tasers really started catching on, so we didn't have an option. We inch our way towards the guy, and as we get closer it becomes clear. When I say he's not moving, I mean he's not moving. He's standing as still as a statue. Pretty soon we realize he's not breathing. We kept our weapons up, kept our lights on him, kept yelling and all that shit. Did it all by the book. But we got up to him and confirmed that he wasn't breathing. We call in the troops. When it was time to move the body, they had to tip him. It was like rigor mortis had set in while he was reaching up to the shelf. It was his face though. It was the most anguished, terrified look I'd ever seen. Picture yourself screaming at the top of your lungs and think about what your face looks like when you do that. That was his face. We asked the people who lived around if they'd heard anything. Of course they hadn't. When Manthe saw the guy, it did something to him. I mean, I saw Lucas's face. It scared the Christ out of me, no two ways about it. Gave me that same feeling when we watched the security tapes. But Manthe, the guy never said another word. Ever. Never spoke to me, his wife, his kids. Never said another word as far as I know. Last I heard, he was living in an old folks' home. Poor son of a bitch just looks out the window all day. That was some years ago, though. I hope for his sake he's dead, terrible as it sounds. They did an autopsy, and, well, it was something with his heart, blood pressure, something. But what it came down to was that he was literally scared to death. I didn't think it was real, but they assured us it was the only explanation. That was it. He died. We never found anything else on his connection to the girl, why they had an alias, why they had a second apartment, nothing. We did find out what the tip of his finger was touching when he reached up on that shelf, though. There was a ball of dental floss, maybe the size of, I don't know, a racket ball, one of those bouncy blue ones. Got a call a day or two later. They told us that inside that ball of floss, 7 human teeth. Far as I know, none of them have ever been identified. It was 1993, I think. After a while these things start to blend together. Dates, some names, and I'm an old man now. That doesn't help. But I remember the important things. I don't know if it's that I just have a good memory or if these things were just burnt into my mind. Well, no matter. We drew a body in a department store, Cole's department store, the one right up there on North Avenue. Well, this one started off weird right off the bat. Someone placed the call for the body around 2 in the afternoon. This is a department store that opened at 9 in the morning, 8, whatever. But it had been open, people walking around the place for hours, so we think, okay, maybe the body was hidden somewhere in the building. Nope. The body was right inside the main entrance of the place, right by the first checkout. Someone must have dropped the body there and took off, right? These are all things we're thinking on the drive over. The body was posed. There was no way someone had been in a rush when they did it, and there's no way that people just didn't notice someone doing it. It would have been impossible to miss. Did I mention it was a kid? Yeah. He was maybe 10, 11 years old. The pose was... Remember when we watched The Exorcist? When the girl comes down the stairs bent over backwards walking on her hands and feet? That's how this boy was. But, not moving. His back was arched, stomach facing up, just looking at us upside down. His face just pain. Just pure pain. All he had on was a pair of white briefs. This kid. God. So we were there, and the first thing we ask is, well, what'd the guy look like? Someone must have seen him. But no one could recall seeing anything. Not even the lady who'd been standing at the register this poor kid was posed in front of not 10 feet away. Now it's weird enough, the way the body is positioned. The position is weird enough, so we think rigor must have set in. The forensics folks get there. They take pictures and all that. Then, Christ. Then they, get ready to lay the body out, take a closer look at him. And as soon as the forensic guy, Benny I remember his name was, as soon as Benny lays a finger on him, and I mean the moment, the second, the microsecond, the exact instant his finger touched this kid's shoulder, the body just instantly crumples like a deflated balloon. I feel bad saying it. That poor kid. But it was just a puddle of a person. A puddle of skin. We find out later this kid's bones, they were dust. I don't mean that figuratively either. His bones were ground in just fine powder. The only mark on his body was a handprint around his neck, and the cause of death was determined to be strangulation. Christ, he was a goddamn kid. So anyways, we had our work cut out for us. This was a case where there were 40, 50, 60 witnesses. We checked the security camera, and it was the most bizarre, surreal thing. The whole thing was caught on tape. At about 10:30 that morning, a person wearing all black who kept his head down the whole time so we couldn't see his face came in holding the kid's hand. They went over to where the body was found, and the kid gets into the position we found him in. The guy then chokes the kid for about 40 seconds, killing him. People are just walking on by, walking around them, looking at them, but ignoring what's happened. The lady at the counter looked over a few times, didn't do a thing, just kept checking people out, doing her job. The guy finishes choking the kid, stands up, and and the son of a bitch bows. And the part that really got me, people in the store gave him a round of applause. Then he just left. We were fuming. I remember I yelled at some of the employees and people that were in the store when they got there. What the hell were you doing just standing there? What the hell's matter with you, you son of a bitches? You know. But not one of them could really explain their reaction to what had happened. They said they remembered seeing the guy, the kid, all of it. But when it was happening, it didn't feel like anything was going on. They said they all saw it, but instead of being like, what the hell, it just seemed like a normal thing. We asked everyone what the guy looked like, and they were all 100% sure in the description they gave of the guy's face. By what the witnesses gave us, the guy was either white, black, Hispanic, or Asian with brown, black, blonde, red, or gray hair, blue, green, or brown eyes, perfect, smooth, or extremely wrinkled skin, a big or small nose, and he had a picture-perfect set of pearly whites. Or he had a mouth that looked like he ate nothing but junk food and rocks and hadn't brushed a day in his life. It didn't make any sense, and with everyone having no real idea what they saw, none of what they gave us was a help at all. Remember I said the body was called in around 2 in the afternoon, and yeah, that means people were coming in and out just ignoring, not realizing, I don't know, whatever the hell was happening. But no one did anything about the body for almost 4 hours. We went to listen to the 911 call and we find out it came from the payphone right across the street from the Kohl's at the McDonald's there. There used to be a payphone. Now, I heard a gravely deep voice, but Olsen, he heard someone more high-pitched. Doesn't really matter, just another weird thing about this. Operator goes, 911, yada yada yada. Guy says, did anyone call yet? Operator goes, I'm sorry? Did anyone call about the body yet? What body? Guy gets all frustrated, starts huffing and puffing and goes, there's a body at Kohl's, North Avenue. Do your fucking job, your goddamn job. Whatever he said. Then he goes, I don't have all day. We end up looking at the security tapes from the McDonald's there, and right after the guy did what he did to the boy, he walked over to the McDonald's and sat at one of the tables outside, and just sat there, staring at the Kohl's, just waiting. Didn't budge an inch from about 10:35 until he called around 2. Just sat there like a statue, staring. Then he got up and made the call. After he hung up, he stood at the payphone, not moving, watching the Kohl's from there. Watched the black and whites show up. Watched us show up. Then finally around 4, he just left. Took off down the street. This was one where we really didn't find anything. Never found out who the boy was. No one ever reported him missing. Certainly never found the guy that killed him. Get this though. A whole mess of people that were at the store when he did what he did, they ended up killing themselves. 6 or 7 of them in the months immediately following that day. Then I found out the case was reopened. Guy who took over it, young guy named Smith, he went to re-interview some of the witnesses, and 16 more had committed suicide. Guy didn't just kill the boy. Whatever he did, whatever he was, he took a whole lot more people with him. That boy though, I'll never get that side out of my eyes, the way he was posed. I just thank God I never saw anything like that again. Some of the other cases might have affected me more overall, but that sight, that was the one. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And if you want to help support the channel and get yourself some more content and some other perks, make sure you go check out my Patreon page. Link in the description. And if you want to read more stories like this, make sure you go check out nickbodick.com. He's a guy that writes a lot of them.
Alright, sorry it took a second to cut it off and it got in the credits. Like I said, I had to watch it on my phone with you guys. For some reason, I can't just have it play. I don't know what's going on with my software right now.
Yeah, Alexa, make sure you go watch the patron member version of that that's been up for like a day or two. There's the part 2 to the "They're turning the frogs gay" story. I had to remake that up. Yeah. Yeah, I know some of you don't like the creepypastas, but some of y'all do. And it's been a very long time since I've done it. Alexa says, "Your maker tell me what to do now?" You're lucky I like being domed, though. You're awesome, I like you.
I like you a lot, girl.
AKA Game No Kyla, good to see you again. The audio should have been fine. I was listening to it on my phone. It should work just fine right now, too. Actually, let me turn this fire doesn't matter. I don't know my background. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Turn that off. I don't know why my fire is not working. Like the file itself is proper. I went and made sure all the properties are good. Yeah, I can't get it to turn on. Weird. I'll just have to factory reset it all the night when I'm done, so whatever. Tiger, congrats on starting college. That's awesome. Awesome. Why are koalas not considered bears? I don't know. I don't know if it'd be their stature. I would say it would be because they're herbivores, but I think are pandas considered bears? The panda bears, aren't they? Aren't they considered bears? I don't know. I don't know what scientific classifications they have for each of the animals. Probably why I'm not a scientist. Have a good night, CR7. Thank you so much for dropping in, dude. Justin's like, "I'm watching you make it through his phone camera." Nah, that'd be staring at the ceiling, man. You've been trying to watch me through everywhere. First you said you were watching me through my bedroom windows. Turns out I don't have bedroom windows. I do have a giant glass door, but no bedroom windows. Got you, son. At least you didn't say my laptop, because ever since the day I bought my laptop, it has a piece of electrical tape over the camera, because I'm not stupid. Pandas are considered bears. Koala bears are marsupials. Good to know. Good to know. Satan says you are unwatchable. Very true, sir. Since it's a black screen, it's unwatchable. But at least I'm listenable. So we'll take things where we can get them. Marissa's like, "I'm also a marsupial. I have a little pocket that I made a baby in." Not gonna say the first thing that came to mind. We'll leave it there. Alexa says, from Google, koalas are not bears. They are not placental or Eutherian mammals, but marsupials, which means that their young are born immature and they develop further in the safety of a pouch. So like a kangaroo. Crikey. Thank you, Rawadi. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really do appreciate it. Justin's like, bedroom window, giant glass door, whichever. Nah, it isn't a whichever. I only have a double sliding glass door to get in. If you're watching me through my windows, you'd know that. You have a better viewing area, actually, because it's not just a small window, it's a giant window. David asks if I'll ever do a face reveal or stay mysterious. I've done a few face reveals now. Quite a few of them now. In fact, you could Google your maker face, and it will pop up in the images section. It'll actually, the regular search should pop up the actual video for the very first face reveal I did. But yeah, I've done a few of them. I'll be doing more of them once I start the podcast. I'll probably make sure, on cam for my podcasts and whatnot. I just also want to try to figure out how to get my background to work properly, because as you see, for some reason, it's just black. So Emma says, your maker, I might try crab now just for you. Try it for you. You're the one missing out. I don't care if you don't eat crab, because that's more for me. No, you'll really enjoy it. It's really good. But it is one of those things that's almost like really light. So you eat a lot of it to get full. A lot of people dip theirs in butter. And I call them horrible people. Crab tastes good on its own. You don't need anything with it. If you need anything, put some lemon on it. But don't ruin it by dipping it in butter. That's disgusting. You're a disgusting animal. But I also don't eat mayonnaise, or I actually don't eat butter. When I have waffles, usually I just eat my waffles frozen. If I have those ones that are pre-made, like the Eggos, I just eat those frozen. My wife saw that for the first time, because we don't get them very often. And then she bought some, and I just grabbed them right out of the freezer and just started eating them. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, eating my waffles? And she's like, you're not going to toast them? And I was like, no. It's like a ice cream cone kind of thing. I don't know. I'm really weird. Pancakes, I don't eat anything. I just ball them up, throw them in my mouth, that's it. Abby says, besides talking about haunted locations in the podcast, what about true crime stories, missing persons, cold cases, etc.? I plan on all that, absolutely. The haunted locations, that's just for like the first theme. Each different podcast is going to have its own theme, so we're not just repeating the same things, because there's only so much we can talk about haunted locations, all that. So I figured different topics for different days, that way it's new. Occasionally I'll try to get a guest up in there, make my wife talk with me, at least something. Alexa says, somebody needs to buy Alexa your maker. Next thing you know, you just get a blow up doll with a picture of your maker on it. There you go. Yeah, I've done live streams with my face as well. Yeah, I eat frozen waffles. Hell. By the time you get down to the last 2 bites, they're defrosted. And then you start on the next one where it's nice and frozen again. The clicking should just be the fire. I can just turn that off. It was supposed to go with the fire in the background. I was supposed to have background that should be playing right now of a Barbie doll I was melting in my backyard at the stake. I got some dolls from the Goodwill, and then I tied one to a stake and then put the other dolls around it in a semicircle so it looked like they were all watching her burn at the stake. That was supposed to be the background footage, but for some reason it doesn't want to play. That's what the clicking should have been, was the fire that I had. It was supposed to be the pop and the crack of the fire, but there's no fire, so it sounds stupid. Take care, Tiger. Thank you so much for dropping in. I hope you have a good time at college and enjoy it while you can. Do I eat raw noodles? Pretty much, yeah. I mean, they're not like raw, but they're just to the point where they're manipulative. Like, I don't like it. I can't stand it. We'll put it this way. If I'm cooking like a top ramen, I get the water boiling, I put the noodles in there, and then I just start whipping them with a fork. And as soon as they separate, I take them out. Anything longer than that, I won't eat. I can't eat mush. I'm a big texture person. I like that crunch. But yeah, I like my my noodles undercooked, as many people would say. I also enjoy my steaks well done. And I also don't like fat in my steaks or any type of meat. I will go to a butcher and I will say, I want a steak with no fat. No, but you want it marbled? No, I want no fat. And they look at my wife and she's like, he's serious. I know it's weird, but he's serious. And then I cook it to well done. Yeah, I'm really weird about my food. I used to have a really bad issue of specific orders of my food. I still kind of do, but it's not to the point where I won't eat. It used to be like when I'd make a taco, I had to have them in a specific order, or burrito, whatever. You know, it always had to be the refried beans, because that's the nice foundation for everything to be placed on to hold it in place. And then you put the meat and then the cheese, because you want the cheese to melt on the meat, on the beans as well, and that holds it all in place. And then you put your cold stuff on top. It was really weird, to the point like my wife made a couple and I was like, you put them in the wrong order. And like, so she just has me make my own tacos now. And then I got kicked out of a Taco Bell because they wrapped my burrito wrong. That was a fun situation. Yeah, I'm sad you guys can't watch the Barbie burn. I do have another Barbie that I gotta burn here too. I also have a 5-minute smoke bomb firework thing. I was gonna have the smoke kind of go in front of the burning as a mist, but I noticed with my camera that it starts to lose focus a lot once the smoke goes across, so yeah. Justin says, I eat the dried up ramen noodles and little packets of seasoning, then I drink the boiling water and just let it cook in my belly. I used to eat the noodles just raw, just put the seasoning on top. Or just like crunch it all up in the bag, dump the seasoning in there, mix it all up. Yeah. Yeah, I hope to get some collabs in with Corpse. I miss my boy Corpsey. Hopefully everything works out for him here soon, so... yeah. Nora says, my sister's the same. She doesn't like her food to touch. That's funny, yeah. There's a lot of people that have their own little quirks about it. Like I used to not be able to like eat in front of people. I don't know why. Like I still have that thing where I'm trying to get over what people think. But like I used to not eat in front of people. And yeah, the military broke that real quick. If you don't want to eat in front of people, you're not going to eat. So yeah, that changed a lot of my eating habits. Corpse is fine. I mean, he's still got his issues. I think he was diagnosed with Lyme disease, he said. And then something else. But I wouldn't say he's fine, but he's alive and well, at least. I was chatting with him a couple days ago. He's released recent videos, so he's trying to get back on his grind, doing his thing while he can, so. Yeah. If any of you guys want to keep up to date, make sure you follow me and Corpsey on Twitter. That's where you find a lot of updates. Same with Lazy, B-Busta. Lazy got demonetized earlier this week. Fortunately, it got reversed, but it took like 3 days to get him to reverse it. What's up, Yvonne? Hope you're having a good weekend, dude. That's why you haven't seen a lot of Corpse. He's had some health issues. Take care, Kyla. Thank you so much for dropping in. It was good to see you again. It's been a while. Teresa, good to see you as well. Someone else I haven't spoke to in a long time. I hope you're healing well after your surgery and everything, and hope your treatments are going well. Nightmare Files, good to see you, bro. Says, what up, your maker? I'm back to Afghanistan in a few weeks. I'm glad you made it home safe. Hope you enjoy your leave, dude. Wait, that should leave, what, another 6 months to your deployment? Then you can come home and chill for a little bit. If you are going to re-enlist, make sure you do it overseas and get tax-free money, son. Glad you stopped in, dude. I really do appreciate that. Been wondering how you were doing. My wife's trying to be as quiet as possible as she gets the food ready for the guinea pigs. And I'm just like, just grab it. Just do it. Yeah, see, I wouldn't be normally doing streams in the living room. We got this place because it was a 2-bedroom. And the second bedroom was going to be my office. So I could stream whenever I want. I could do anything. My work whenever I want. And then I made a dumbass mistake of wanting to get some office pet. Well, I wanted an office pet. And I went to go get a snake. And then I ended up coming home with a guinea pig. And then I found out guinea pigs can't be alone. So then I got another guinea pig. And then I found out guinea pigs made noise because I didn't know they made noise. So I was trying to record, and then I just heard some random ass shit, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And my wife's like, yeah, they make noise. I was like, I didn't know that. I wouldn't have got them. And now they pretty much have a bedroom to themselves because I don't work in there with them. Yes. Are you planning on playing the Rec Room? Sorry for the random question out of the blue with seemingly no context. I don't know what Rec Room is, so I'd have to say no. Dollface says, your maker wears Teddy Band. He's back on day shifts right now. I've been seeing him around, chatting with him every now and then. Play some PlayStation 4 every now and then, but he is alive. I also have him on my Facebook too. But no, he's alive and well. He's been sharing stuff on Facebook as of today. So, just been dealing with all his work. I think he went to a new department as well, so probably getting acclimated there, is all that good stuff. Devin says it's time to get a 3-bedroom house. No. I think a 2-bedroom house is enough. We just need to wait for a few years. And then all of our animals are going to die at like the same time. It's going to be sad as fuck. Cats, guinea pigs, they're all like right to the age where they're all going to die really close to each other. Skybender says, your maker, will you narrate one of my stories in your next upload? Probably not, because my next upload's already recorded. We just got done listening to it. But I can't guarantee a story I'll read it unless I hear it. Or read it, I should say. So make sure you email it, and I'm totally down to at least read it, proofread it, and all that. I gotta make sure to be something YouTube's cool with, something people would enjoy, but I'm always down to hear experiences. Alright, Nightmare Frost, I'll check my Twitter after this. Sinu, what's up? Says, I'm so late, but hey, I know you are late. I'm about to end the stream. We've been live for like 2 hours, but better late than never. And the good thing is, at least you can scan back and listen. So, Marlissa, does your wife take advantage of your voice? Request special dirty talk in the bedroom? Nope. She doesn't put me to use like that. Huh, babe? I did ask her when people started listening to me. I was like, do I have a voice that people would listen to? She's like, I thought your voice was sexy. Because we met on the phone. Well, we met on Facebook. And then we started talking on the phone. So we talked a lot before we actually got together. But no. She doesn't tell me to say anything. Huh. Nope. She's probably just used to me talking all the time. Kristen D says, I finally caught a live stream. I have a feeling it's about to be over. It is about to be over. Oh, the luck of it. Yeah, I made sure to actually put a what the fuck's the word? Like a notification, essentially. Like I scheduled the stream so it would show up in people's subscription feeds. At least give them a heads up that, hey, I'm going to be streaming in like 3 hours. That was about the best heads up I can do, because I never do a heads up for my stream, ever. And even this morning I was like, babe, I'm going to put a heads up. And I did. But yeah, we probably will be ending the stream right up here in a minute. Chill a little. Like I said, I'm going to try to go to bed early so I can get on the schedule, so Monday we can start our podcasts. I still got to decide the time. I'm not sure. Am I going to read another story before you go? I could do that. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Let me see what we got. Oh shit, I don't think there was much before that either. Because that last one I read live was one I asked for permission for too, to put on the channel. I don't know if this is going to be creepy at all, but we'll try. We'll see. This was posted on the subreddit Let's Not Meet by Miss Penny Lane. Wait for my wife to get done washing the vegetables. Okay. And it's titled The Handyman. Until recently, I worked for a family with 5 kids. Oh wait, this is a chick. Until recently, I worked for a family with 5 kids. The horrible situations that happened from this job and the mental scars are for another time. To give it a short description, I'm a 22-year-old female, born and raised in New York. Why do you have a British accent then, lady? But moved to Australia. Crikey! During my rebellious fuck everyone stage. Having to pay for everything yourself can make some pretty poor decisions. It sucks what money and financial struggle can make you go through. I ended up working for one of the richest families in Australia, although one of the cheapest. Naturally, they have a bunch of paid help, so they don't have to worry about doing anything. One of these housekeepers, handyman guys started taking a liking to me, but I ignored the first signs. Handyman started to talk to me a lot. Although German wasn't our first language, and being that this was in the 60s, I didn't pin him down as a threat. For a few months, he would just always talk to me. Well, try language barriers. So nothing felt off. Handyman started to take pictures of the children. I watched and would ask me to get in. He pulled this weird maneuver a few times. I think he sensed I was too uncomfortable and actually said no. To actually say no. Working for such a wealthy, powerful family, you almost get scared to make any issues. Handyman started to stare me down like raw meat and would start to compliment me on my clothes and looks. I started to actively avoid him, but he would wait until I was home alone with the baby and call my name. Miss Penny Lane.
Miss Penny Lane.
Through the apartment, searching the rooms where I would go into hiding, rocking the 7-month-old baby, 7-month-old, come on. The times that he would discover my hideouts, he would stand and watch me while I was sitting with one of the children, not even blinking, just staring. It would go on until he heard some of the other helper walk around and getting close. He started to invite me over to his tricked-out shed in the backyard to smoke cigarettes and drink tea. It started getting really weird really fast. Handyman was actively seeking out the times I was alone to harass me. The event that creeped me out the most was what got me fired. I don't wear a lot of makeup to work because watching 5 kids and playing Legos on the ground isn't so motivating to get dolled up for. But one day I felt like wearing makeup. And I can. And when Handyman saw me home alone with the smallest one, he walks up, pushes my hair and bangs out of my face, and cups it in his hands while holding my face close to his, saying how beautiful I was. I ended up telling the family, and since I was more replaceable, they let him keep working. Incredible! Am I right? I only recently heard they fired him because I messaged the mother that a sexual predator has keys to her house and to warn her 2 au pairs could be his next targets. I don't know what 2 AU pairs. Is that an overseas term? Maybe someone could fill me in. Still have nightmares for months of dread. For the months of dread I had while working with this asshole. Coming to work holding pepper spray is not fun. If anyone can take anything from this story, please do not subject yourself to horrible or dangerous situations just for money. I know we gotta pay our bills, but no amount of money is worth objectification and, honestly, our dignity. You can get so brainwashed and caught up in paying your bills and trying to get out of debt when you're making a fresh start for yourself. But it's absolutely not worth your sanity and safety. Rich Australian family, fuck you. And Handyman, fuck you too. The end. Pair is a live-in childminder. Oh, a live-in childminder. Okay, so a nanny. Means nanny, like Bonnie said. Okay. Thank you. I see all the answers. That's why I throw those things out when I don't know, because I know a lot of you guys would know the terms. So, 7-month-old. Yeah, I know, Sierra. I don't know what's going on. Jimmy says, why is always scary stories for us and never scary stories for you? Well, like, why are the ones that seem scariest to you guys not that scary to me? I don't know, probably just I'm desensitized. I don't know. I don't think I've ever honestly read anything scary. I don't think I've ever watched a scary movie either. Like, the only fear I've had is like in the situation myself, like the true fear. I love horror books, you know, they give you creeps and whatnot. Like, I've read Goosebumps from when I was a kid, Hardy Boys, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. My very first real book that I read was Helter Skelter. So maybe that desensitized me. Because it was just a whole bunch of really graphic details about the Manson family murders, and it had pictures and all that stuff, so. Kristen D says, question, where did you get your name from? I made it up. Yes. I played a lot of video games. In fact, this channel, for the first, like, 10 years of its existence, was just video games. And when I would kill someone in the game, it would say blah blah blah, like whatever game I was playing, I wanted it to say you've just been killed by your maker, essentially. So that's where it came from. Originally, like, the channel used to be called Your Maker 69 because that's what my gamer tag is, but once I reached 15,000 subs, I took out the 69. But that's where the Your Maker came from. Geologic says, just looked up what your maker looks like. Looks Russian to me. R Maker. No, not Russian. But that's what a Russian spy would say. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. We've been live over 2 hours. I wanna try to get myself on a schedule. I'm hoping Monday we will do our first podcast, and that'll be on the theme of haunted locations. So we'll go over some different haunted locations, look up some facts, chat, do that kind of stuff. So yeah. Kristen's like 6'9". Oh, you should hear it when I'm trying to give my personal email out to a business. Like when I was getting a shuttle up to Vegas when I had to go fly out for an emergency. He's like, what's your email? And I was like, it's manslt6260@gmail.com. And he's like, is that manslut? And I was like, or it's manslt. And he's like, or is it manslut? And I was like, well, it's missing a U if it's manslut, right? And he's like, yeah, but which one is it? And I was like, it was manslut. I just misspelled it. We both had a good laugh over that. My favorite kind of horror. I don't know what the different genres of horror are. I like gory horror, but I also like horror with a really good storyline that leaves you wondering. My favorite horror is the ones without happy endings. Yeah, we'll say that. I don't like people surviving. Everyone should die. In the books, of course, you know. All right, everybody, have a wonderful night. Thank you all so much. To all my patrons, channel members, if you're a new patron or anything like that, make sure you go check out the new video. There's a bonus story at the end. Once this video goes public, that bonus story is not going to be in the public version. That's just for you guys, type of thing. So, anything else? Yeah, if you want to become a patron, check down below. Cool perks, channel member, down below. Get cool perks, whatever. I'll catch y'all later. Bad bye. I wonder if I sit here in silence, how many people are just gonna leave. I wonder how many will stay. Some things we may never know.
It all started when I was a little boy. Yes. I was a little boy. And Tigger was eating food. Tigger! Hello, Tigger. Yes, you're a cute little kitty. Yes, kitty. My precious. My precious kitty.
Dude, he actually started running to me.
You like that, Ricky? Come here, Ricky. Let me touch your